Grishko's here, yay! I'll answer all your questions about point shoes in a moment. Mr. Grishko's here as well. Hi, Mr. Grishko. Welcome. So we're now going to go live with Allison DeBona. So let's get her up. One moment. Let me just find her. Okay, here we go. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Welcome. I'm good, thank you. Happy Mother's Day, by the way, because it's the US
thanks.
Mother's Day, isn't it? How has your day been going so far?
It was great. I actually woke up and had a private lesson with a really promising student. So I spent the morning doing ballet here in our garage, but my husband actually built us, I don't know if anyone can see, but a sprung floor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is super cool.
Yeah, we have like basically a studio in our house right now. So it's pretty cool.
That's amazing. Someone's already dropped in about Breaking Point. I knew that would come up like instantly. I too watched Breaking Point and I really loved it. So I'll go into my first question about it, I guess. What was it like filming it? Do you miss it? Do you miss being part of like a reality show?
I don't think a lot of people know this, but when we first were pitched the idea of Breaking Point, it was BC. So they actually came to Ballet West and said, we'd love to film a docu-series. And so that intrigued us. We were like, this is wonderful. We're going to bring ballet into the homes of, millions of people. We're on board for this. So some of us got interviewed in the very early process of it. And actually, my entire interview was about me being a college graduate. So I actually started my professional career. My first professional performance was my 24th birthday. So I did not have a normal, path to being professional because I had went to college first. And, it's slowly changing. This was literally 2006, but we'd often hear, you can't go to college and have a career. You're going to be too old. It would never work out.
Sure,
so I wanted my story to be about that. And I remember only talking about that, but somehow they found out about my relationship with Rex, who's now my husband.
Yes.
But if you watch the show, I was in a serious relationship at the time. So the BBC sold it to the CW. And it turned into what you guys saw, which was basically reality TV ballet version. Turned into about my personal life mostly. And so, at the time, you guys, it was super stressful to open up my life like that.
Yeah.
It was hard on us mentally, and it really wasn't what we thought we signed up for. But amazing support system. My family encouraged me to kind of, go with the flow. And I was also considered the bad girl on the show. I'm not sure how, I was the mean girl. And I remember episode 1 happening and the producers calling me and they're like, we're sorry, but we thought you could handle it. I was like, what? Guys, so we never saw any of the footage before they would air it.
Oh, no, really?
Really. So imagine this. It was the first episode, season 1, and it's opening night of a performance for a Ballet West series that we were doing. And I was taking company class, and I got a phone call from my family. And they were like, not a phone call. I had 50 missed calls. And I was like, what happened? I thought something terrible happened. And they called and they're like, you need to go to the newsstand and buy Us Weekly. And I was like, Us Weekly? So there's an entire page with my face that says like the B word of reality TV, the new,
Oh my God. I never knew this.
Out to be. So
wow.
I know. But you know what it did for me is it opened up an opportunity to a lot of interviews. So I was kind of pushed out to the press more often. And although that was very stressful and it was hard to read what people are saying about me on social media, I believe I would have Art Emotion, my company, without it. So, having the press and, the publicity from the show helped me with a future. And so I have to tell you, like, I'm so thankful for the experience. Rex and I are married. We have a child together.
Yes.
You guys just happen to see that part of our lives that we all go through, like young love, insane and obsessive and all that crazy stuff. But, you know, we grew up and here we are.
Yeah.
So, you know, I loved the experience. I would do it again. It's, you know, it is what it was, and I'm proud of it.
Right.
Even the
Totally.
crazy. I hope that, you know, what I show you know, on my social media, thank you, out there. But you know, how I show myself on social media, I feel like, you know, gives the truth.
Yes, absolutely agree with that. I'm just going to get my notes up because they're on my other laptop. With this double stream, I have to have 2 laptops running and a phone. It's hilarious.
No, it's hard. And I hope you're able to save this video because I've been.
I am. Yes, definitely.
Would you send it to me because my phone?
Of course.
All right, cool. I appreciate it.
It's always good because what we do is then we can upload them to YouTube, to Facebook, to IGTV. You can upload it as well, and we can get more information out there, which is great. Let's just save this and move it over. One moment.
Okay.
Got it. Whilst I'm doing this, guys, feel free to put any questions for Allison in the comments. I'm just going to move this file.
Hi, everyone. We love you too, guys. Such sweet people out there.
I love the fact that nowadays with the internet, there's so much that we can do, and you know, it's just so awesome that we can connect with so many people around the world.
Yeah, I know everybody is feeling really, and I understand it's hard what we're all going through, but I'm not really struggling with it. And, you know, immediately I felt the need to adapt. And so that's why we have a studio in our garage, and Art Emotion from day one has offered, you know, a free Instagram class every day.
Yes, I've been doing some of them.
Cool. Yeah, and you know, we do open classes, private lessons. We're still doing our summer intensives. 2 out of the 3 are virtual, but the 3rd one, we just got news. We can talk about this. We're doing in person. But, you know, it's like I have made connections with people that I don't think I would have otherwise. And I think people are getting to take class from people that they may not have ever had that chance. So I'm just encouraging people to stay positive and also know that like anything that you guys are doing at home matters. So it's like we're still working hard. We're trying to improve ourselves, and it all matters, even when we're home. And I want people to keep that mindset, and that also it's okay to take a day off if you don't feel like.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, because I know like Dance Magazine had they unloaded a article about how they felt actually more pressure now that we're all online to just kind of keep up. And I'm thinking to myself, guys, no, we're in control of ourselves. Like if you take a day off, if you need a break, take it. If you feel really, you know, motivated, take advantage of that too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I learn from it all. So I love it. I'm having a great time.
It's wonderful. And I like the fact that during this downtime, we have time to do other stuff as well that we wouldn't usually have time to do, which has benefited me greatly, not only just personally, but also as a business, because it means I get more time to work on, you know, things to do with my YouTube channel and all the little fine details, and offering virtual fittings as well to people that, you know, can't get to me, and being able to send shoes out and whatever. It's been really great for that. Let's have a little scroll.
Adapted, you know, you have to adapt or you don't adapt.
Yes.
And that's how I'm looking at it, because that's what I did with Art Emotion. I just said to myself, like, I can either keep the same business model and struggle, or learn to do something new. And
absolutely.
So congratulations. And, you know, we're just trekking on.
Totally. The CA Cyclist has actually got a question there that's on my notes anyway. They say, Allison, when did you start taking classes in ballet? When did you know you wanted to be a ballet dancer?
Okay. So I actually started when I was 3 years old. My mom put me in ballet lessons and also gymnastic lessons. And she, I think at some point, asked me what I wanted to do. And I guess I didn't want to do gymnastics and I wanted to stick with ballet. weirdly enough, you guys, I was born breech, so I was born, the wrong direction.
Uh-huh.
My feet actually were all the way rotated backwards.
No way.
Yeah, so I actually wore braces for almost, 9 months of my life to try to get and my mom said there was one crazy doctor that, wanted to maybe break my legs and reset them.
Oh, wow.
Another doctor looked at her and said, no, she's going to be a ballerina, just will wear braces. And then it came out to be true. And it's just so weird.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So I have really weird legs. They're very bowed and strange and it's hard sometimes, but yeah. So, but I want to just tell people if they don't know this about me. So when I was in 8th grade, so my parents had got a divorce and my mom was remarried. And so in 8th grade, she got pregnant with my little sister. And I was supposed to go to SAB that summer, and I looked at my mom and I said, I'm not going away. And this is ballet obsessed Allison. And she's like, what? Be here for when my sister's being born. Are you there?
Oh, sorry, It just froze for a moment. I don't know why.
I said, I want to be there for my sister being born. I also want to go to high school and be normal. You guys, I was a cheerleader. I was on drill team. I quit from 8th grade until 11th grade. I did not do ballet.
Wow. Oh my God, I never knew this.
Yeah. So that's a huge reason why I actually ended up going to college, because I had missed so much time. And, my parents encouraged me to go to school. They did not want me to do that, but I did. So, I did not, again, have a traditional route to being professional. And I have to be honest with you, I struggle with that still these days. When I was younger, ballet was very natural for me. And I remember when I came back after taking so much time off, I felt like I was really behind. And so this day, I wondered if, I'm a first soloist with Ballet West. I'm really proud of that. But I wonder if I never took any time off, if I would have been a principal earlier in my life, maybe.
I get you, sure.
Those are things that I deal with. But, I have an amazing career. And so it's like,
absolutely,
we do that to ourselves. Just remember that every decision you make matters in some way in your life. And that's sort of like where I feel like I'm supposed to be at Ballet West because I'm supposed to marry Rex and have my son. And it's like, maybe I wouldn't have been on that path had I just
right.
So, totally. I don't know. The older I get, the wiser I get. So
absolutely, I agree with that. I feel that a lot. Especially once you hit your 30s, I think that's when you really, truly start wising up properly, in my opinion.
True. I mean, I'm 36. I'm going to be 37 in November. So I'm getting closer to 40 these days.
Do you find, that's led me on to another question actually. So when you're getting older and with ballet and point work in general, does it feel harder to you? Do you feel that your body changes? I mean, obviously having a baby, that makes a difference also. But have you personally found it harder as you get older, or do you find it easier? What's your own personal experiences with that?
So having a baby really changed a lot for me. And that was a struggle. So, like I said, I always felt like ballet was natural for me. So I'm a pretty flexible individual. So I never really had to worry about that, even coming back after a baby and stuff like that. But, the strength really was lost after losing your floor. We don't need to get into all of that. So I also didn't realize that coming back after having a baby, I didn't recognize it in myself, but I felt like I was also dealing with postpartum depression, and I wasn't really honest about that. So whenever I'm coming back, with Ajax, coming back from Ajax, so I started back in rehearsals 4 months after having him. Guys, I gained 70 pounds with my son, and I don't generally fluctuate weight. So I kind of stay the same, but I gained 70 pounds with my son. So that alone was hard to deal with. So I'm coming back, trying to find my body again. And I was very frustrated, and I thought to myself, I would never get back to where I felt like I could be. And this lasted an entire year. So Ajax was born in December. It was December, Nutcracker. And, I'm doing classical ballet, and I'm like, I can't do this. I could not ever feel my body again. And I was getting frustrated, and I was crying, and I was getting upset, truthfully. What has been amazing about quarantine is I'm in this studio 6 hours a day doing private lessons. Honestly, I start at 8 a.m.
Wow.
And I am discovering new ways of working that is fixing problems that I thought I had post baby. And I realized it's just about engaging the proper muscles. So here I am for an entire year and a half thinking that my back was messed up because of having a baby. And I realized I was compensating because I was not very strong in those places after having a child. So I was engaging the wrong muscles, and it felt like it was, like bone structure.
Oh, wow.
And here I mean, I feel like I'm getting better in quarantine because I'm able to slow down and work slower.
Yes.
And so a lot of the times these kids and parents are asking me, like, how are you going to improve at home if you're not taking a full class? And I truly, honestly mean this. Half the time we shouldn't even be off the bar. Always slow down and get to bar and like really hone in on technique and what I'm doing every day for myself, what I'm doing with my students, and also what like any of our virtual summer intensives are going to be about. Like, we will never have this time again to slow down and like hone in on. We will never have this again.
Definitely agree with that.
Yeah, unless we take time to do it, which we don't.
Yeah.
We're all busy. So, that's my answer. You can
totally. I mean, like, I've even said to students who were worried, about point work, saying, oh, I'm not gonna have my point classes now. I can only do a little bit from home depending on the floor they've got and whatever. And I just said to them, look, think about the basics of point work. Think about working on your strength and your alignment and the simple stuff. If you haven't got a decent floor, just do what you can. Don't overdo it. Don't do it to the extent you're going to get hurt, right? Yeah. But just take your time with it and think about this time as a time to really perfect those little details so that when you do get back in the studio, you haven't lost anything per se, but actually you've gained things that you wouldn't usually have gained.
Yes.
So,
that we work on in point class here in our virtual classes is, my floor is slippery.
Oh, hang on, it's froze.
I promise. Oh, that's okay. Okay. What I want to say to most of those people is the reason why we slip out is because we're not getting up over our box. When we don't get all the way over our box, we're on the inside of the bottom of the shoe and we go sliding out. So one of the things we're really working on in point class is, we often hear, straighten your knees. But a part of the leg that we don't think about is behind the knee, the back of the leg.
Yes.
We're working on strengthening and straightening the back of the knee, but opposition, and that's your ankle. So that's how you get the ballet look. You're thinking on the top of your shoe, your knee is straightening from behind, and the top was pushing out against it forward. And I don't mean tickling, I'm talking straight out. So we're working like that. We're working really slow, like articulating, and I call it through like on the floor, quarter, half, three-quarter, all the way. And you
so crucial.
Where you can have allow momentum to bring you up into point. We stop it and we literally think about the bottoms of the foot and every muscle, bringing those toes up.
Yeah, I watched a point class you did actually that was working on that, and I was doing it at home myself because it also reminded me of some other classes by Lynn Charles, because she focuses a lot on that as well. Because I don't know if you know, but sometimes, especially in adult classes, they tend to be a bit more slack with adults when they really shouldn't. And what I find is, even as a point shoe fitter, when I'm going to these classes to try and do the class myself, I'm often looking at people and thinking, oh my God, why are they not using their whole foot? Why are they just springing onto point when they should be working every little part? Yeah. And okay, sometimes they are reading correct shoes that aren't helping them, but a lot of the time it's because they've not been taught to articulate every single part of their foot.
I mean, we have an adult intensive every year, a summer intensive, a week long in Salt Lake City.
Nice.
We were supposed to add a week into Cleveland, Ohio, but obviously all those plans got ixnayed. That's why we're going virtual. So we're still having our adult summer intensive virtually, but I agree with you. Just because somebody is an adult dancer, there are people who just are being introduced to ballet, or people who used to be ballet dancers and they come back. That doesn't mean they get just kind of a free for all. That's not fair.
No, it isn't.
have to approach the work the same as a young student. And that's what we
Exactly.
do. And, you know, one of the things that I often talk about in my classes, my teacher used to teach us that when we pointed our feet, our toes stayed long.
Yes.
So I'm going to just show you my really
Yeah,
dirty.
go on, show us.
But for everybody out there, what this means is like, even on point, can you see my toes are long, like a
nice lengthen, no
this.
curling or crunching.
Yeah.
So it's so vital.
We talk a lot about that. Like, even when you're pointing your foot in general, just with ballet shoes on, that you're not, you know, you're not curling your toes. Sorry,
no.
You're not curling
one of the things that bothers me when I fit shoes, actually, sometimes I get dancers that have even been on point a long time, but because their teachers have not taken the time to look at their actual bare feet and see what's going on in their slippers, they're coming to me and I get into a rotondo and I'm like, what? I'm like, can you lengthen your toes, please? And then they can't do it. So I end up actually sending them home with exercises to do. And sometimes I even, if it's really bad, and I notice he's having problems in point shoes, I get them to go to a dance physio to really get it sorted out. Because for those watching that haven't done point yet, I cannot stress how important it is that everything works together with your body. We're not just, it's not just feet and ankles, it's your whole body, guys. So just because you think to yourself, well, I've got strong feet and ankles now, I'm ready for point work, it doesn't work like that. And you know,
I mean, you're talking about even like the pelvic floor use, and we talk about this in our classes. It's like, it's hard for young kids to understand what the pelvic floor is. We don't even explain how we explain it is basically, you know, your lower abs are the center of your body. So every time you do a plie, even though it's impossible, you're lifting that up and you're not allowing it to come with you and the rest of your legs.
Yes.
And so you're building the strength and you're getting all of that weight out of your ankles and your feet. And I agree. Here's my opinion, and some people may hate it, but the way that our technique is evolving, speed is like the thing that everybody wants. Everybody wants faster. And that's amazing. But that comes after you've mastered slow.
Yes.
Because what's starting to happen is speed is being introduced too soon. So we're compensating to get the work done, and the basis of like our technique is getting completely lost.
Thank you for that.
Kids are getting, I mean, they're getting hip injuries, knee injuries, ankle injuries. Like, I've never heard in my lifetime as a child of like people having serious surgeries at such young ages.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You are totally right about that.
Yeah. So it just bothers me. And this is like, you know, with Art Emotion, we're so dedicated to this because it's like, it matters to me.
Yeah. That's so good. It's so refreshing.
Exactly. I'm back to stage. I felt like I was back at square one again after having my son. So I'm right with the beginner ballet people again. I'm being serious. So it's like, it matters to me still as a professional dancer at my age. And so that's how we teach.
That's really nice. It's great to hear that people, you know, take the adults seriously as well, because I mean, I travel a lot, so I do a lot of drop-in classes and I go to different schools and studios and see what they teach. And, you know, I'll pick different things up, which is great. But sometimes I walk into some studios and I'm just like, what is going on here? You know, there's people on point that shouldn't even be on point. There's, I just see it all once. It's scary.
I mean, I think that's hard nowadays too. So this is also just my opinion, but when I was younger, I felt like what happened in the ballet studio was like between the teacher and the student, and the parents weren't as involved. And I understand now that I'm a parent, I want to know what's happening. I would want to know, but there also has to be a level of trust between like the teacher and the parent as well. And I feel like sometimes the need to keep up with the peers, like, so a kid who has a peer who might be in a certain place with their technique, they feel the pressure, and it's really sad to have to keep up with that. So sometimes kids are pushed along a little too soon.
Yes.
And I hate that. I hate that on so many levels. I hate that for how the parents feel. I hate that especially for how the kids feel, because that is a horrible feeling. So I think that sometimes teachers get pressured into it. And I feel sorry for the teachers too. So I know there's so many wonderful teachers out there who know what's right, but at the same time, you know, the relationship with a parent, they also have to respect that as well, because the parents are paying for these lessons. There's so many layers to it.
Do you know what? This would be a really amazing topic to do for YouTube, actually. That would be a really good one, because it's not spoken about often enough. And I get so many parents that email me every day, and common questions like, basically, I've got a daughter and she's got a friend and they're the same age and they've been doing ballet the same amount of time, but her friend's on point and my daughter isn't, and I want to know why. And they start to really like go into like, so they're like really bothered by it. And then I always like take a moment to break it down for them, that it's not just about because they're the same age or they're the same level. I mean, here in England, it's a little different. We are very obsessed with associations of ballet and doing ballet exams. So yeah. Like RAD, BATD, ISTD, there's so many of them. And one of the things that they really obsess about here is doing these exams and seeing them as a guideline for how good a dancer is, which is so bad, because it does not make a dancer, in my opinion. A dancer is someone who, you know, is a dancer. They've got that mentality, the musicality, the technique, the stamina, the everything that goes into it. It's not just about, oh, you've done this great, that makes you a great dancer, because it just doesn't. And I wish this country would stop obsessing about ballet exams, because it really makes no difference.
You know, it's a fine line, because I understand there has to be some kind of system, but then this is also where like the conversation about like, what are we first? Are we artists? Because if you look at the people that we adore, the people that we want to be, they just danced. Like maybe their passes when they did 8 pirouettes wasn't up, you know, all the way up above their knee, but nobody cared. True. Nobody cared because they were so captivating. And at this point, I think it's harder for kids. The technique that's being asked, you know, it's really difficult. And so what happens is they get bogged down, even us, we get bogged down with the technical aspects of the ever-evolving technique, the more turns, the higher legs, the more turnout. And so we lose what being an artist is. Yes, so true. And it kills me, because I'm like, you guys, I want to be like Makarva. Watch Makarva videos. Like, you wouldn't even have cared, and she didn't do this. I mean, she's Makarva, but I mean, if she would have fallen out of a turn, you wouldn't have cared, because she was so captivating. Whereas like now, you know, if someone falls out of a turn, like, they get so upset with themselves and then the audience, and it's hard. It's just hard. So, you know, I don't know, at Art Emotion, we actually have acting as part of the curriculum. Fantastic. At all times, no matter what level you're at, because we really try to push that artistry matters, and it matters most. It matters most to the audience. Like, there's always going to be a balletto main in the audience who's going to know everything about technique, and you may disappoint them or you may not, but 90% of the audience is going to be looking at you from the middle of your body up, and they want to see a performance, and they're paying your bills. Yes, very good point. Absolutely. So, I mean, I don't know. I totally get you. It makes a lot of sense. So how old was you when you went on pointe for the first time? Guys, I was 9. Okay. Wow. And that's not typical. So don't be like, Allison went on pointe at 9. I need to be on pointe at 9. No. Absolutely. So like I said, ballet just was very natural for me when I was little. I was strong and you know, I was on pointe early, but it's because I could do the things that were needed to be done at that age. And I was also very obsessed with ballet. So I was dancing even at that young of an age. I would get home from school at 4 and I'd be at ballet at 4:30, and I would be there until 9:30 at night. And I was only 9. So I was training a lot, but again, like, my mom didn't push me. I literally was obsessed. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So when you did go on pointe first time, what was it like? Can you remember that day? Yeah. So I remember I still have my pointe shoes, and they're Chacots. Oh yeah, I remember. And they were like the true ballet pink, like not the pink. I know, they're very Barbie pink, actually. Yeah, Barbie pink, and I love them, and I rode on them my first pair of pointe shoes,
Oh,
but I spelled it Pear because that was only
oh,
9. So I spelled it like the fruit.
oh, that's cute.
Yeah. But I just always dreamt of them. You know, it was like the best day of my life.
Did it
And
come like a second nature to you, point work? Can you remember what your first point classes were like?
like I said, I did not realize that ballet was difficult until I had quit and come back. So I think like I was blessed when I was younger. I just was able to do things, and you know, I'm also like my brain works sort of, I don't know how to explain it, but in like a scientific kind of way where it's like how I approach the work like makes sense on different levels. So if like somebody started to explain to me like how do you shift your weight, like I understood what that meant. And so I think that's also why maybe at a young age like I was able to move up a little quicker, is because I could like dive into that technical aspect of it a little bit differently.
Sure.
I'm not sure, but I don't remember feeling overwhelmed by it at all. It just kind of, you know,
That's
happened.
cool. So when did you go into Grishko, or should I say Nikolay point shoes? Like, how long ago was that? Was it a long time ago?
So as soon as I came back to ballet as a high schooler, so 11th grade, I was immediately in Grishko's. So I
Wow.
have, yeah, I have pretty narrow feet, but they're
Uh-huh.
also very, very flexible.
Uh-huh.
And so Grishko's just always suited me.
Yep.
Like one of the things that I never get are blisters, you guys. Like I don't get them, and it's because my shoes fit my feet well.
Exactly. I always say
You
this to people, like, you don't need to worry about all of these problems if your shoe fits correctly and works with you, not against you.
Yeah.
And it's astonishing the amount of dancers that come to me in really bad shoes and their feet are so bad. Even Grishko Nikolay point shoes can be fitted incorrectly. Don't get me wrong. I've had a few dancers that are in, say, the wrong shank or too long a shoe or too wide or too narrow or whatever else. But yeah, it's astounding. Like, you know, once you find a shoe that works with you, what a difference it makes, because then the dancer doesn't have to worry about it. You know, it should be a tool for the dancer, not something they struggle with, right?
Right. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, the only thing that I get, and it's like if my feet start to swell, then like sometimes my toenails will start to get bruised if I'm on point for a really long time. But also I wear my shoes super dead, which I am not telling people to do. It's just
Sure.
at my level and how I like to wear my shoes. I like to wear them so that they're soft.
I get you. Do you know what?
You
I
know.
could probably give you some great advice. Do you know what I want to do? After this stream, I'll arrange a virtual fitting with you because I'd love to help
Okay.
you out. So tell me a bit about the models of Grishko Nikolay point shoes you've worn, and what model is your favorite at the moment?
Okay, so I started with the 2007s.
Yep.
And then I switched to Novas.
Uh-huh.
And so I've been wearing Novas for years. Like, I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you the exact amount of time. But then after I had my baby, my feet did get bigger.
Of course. Uh-huh.
So I was fitted into Allures, and I was wearing those for a little bit. And then all of a sudden, I don't know if my hormones changed again, like my feet shrunk back to what they were normally.
Just
So
to
I'm
let guys
back.
know that Allures are actually Dream Point 2007s, but it's because the old US distributor had to rename them to Allures, just so people are on the same track. But yeah, sorry, carry on.
No, it's but now I'm back in Novas, back into my old shoe.
Sure.
And I love them. I mean, I'm always open to like try any of your guys' new shoes, because you never, you know, like the only thing that I actually don't get too much done to my shoes either. Like I'm pretty much a stock girl.
Wow.
Yeah, but because I have really narrow feet, the only thing I would really honestly love to talk to you about is like having a box that was bigger.
Yeah, do you know what? I watched your fitting with Pat's Dancewear on YouTube, and it was great for me as a fitter because I was looking and I was coming up with ideas as I was watching it. Anyways, in what you can do in a custom is you can actually make the platform bigger by up to 20%. And this is what I do in my customs. Another thing that we do is we can actually make an entire last now to suit that dancer. So they can actually have their own truly personalized Nikolay pointe shoe, which, you know, they can pick a last that they like and then adjust the whole last, which is amazing.
Yeah,
Not many
I would
people know
die.
about
I
that.
would die for that. So, we just did Giselle at Ballet West, and I was Mirta, and so Corinna Verti, she came and she coached us, and she was looking at my shoes, and she was like, "How do you turn on those shoes? How do you balance in those shoes?" And I was like, "You don't understand. My feet are so narrow that like if I get a wider
I'm
width
the
in any
same.
capacity, it doesn't fit."
You know,
And I do not darn. Okay, I hate
no,
sewing in
sure,
general.
no.
I'm not darning shoes.
I can understand. So
So I would love to talk to you about that.
oh my God, I could make you the best shoe ever. So
Yes!
you know what? You're narrow like me. I'm a 1X, so I'm super narrow in Grishko Nikolay shoes. So this is what I personally do to solve mine. I wear two different models at the moment. I wear 3007 and I wear Maya 1. So typically speaking, the Maya 1 has a bigger platform anyway because the shoe is semi-tapered. This is a Nova. I just wanted to speak to guys about this. With the Nova, it has an oval platform and a low profile, and the platform is quite small, even in the wider ones. Obviously, we can custom it and we can add 20% width. And of course, we can do a custom last as well. But personally, I find that just in special order, just adding that extra 20% when I'm already so narrow makes such a difference. Obviously, I'm not a professional, but when I've done it for other people, when I've done it for other people, they're like, "Oh my God, I can balance better, I can turn better." So, you know, for people that don't want to darn, it's a godsend. Honest to God, it makes such a difference. Because like you, when I was in a 1X width, I'd be like, "Oh my God, you know, my balancing on point feels really different because it's so small." And of course, for people watching that don't know, the platform is determined by profile height and the shape of the box and the width combined. Mr. Grishko just wrote a comment here. He says, "Dear Allison, thank you, the beautiful gift to your talent. I personally would like to invite you to become a Grishko, Nikolay Grishko International brand ambassador." Oh my God, wow. I hope
that would be amazing.
I hope that you will accept from Nikolay.
Yes, Mr. Nikolay. Thank you, Mr. Grishko. Yes, I would love that.
That is so cool. I've always wanted, because I've been following your journey for a long time. And do you know what? It was back in February, actually. Do you remember when I messaged you about the fakes?
Yes.
Because I was hoping that you weren't in them. I was like panicking a bit. I was like, "Oh my God, I hope she knows." So when back then I was like, "Hey, wait a minute, why she should be one of our ambassadors?" Because, you know, she's been wearing them for so long.
I mean, I can't get out of them. I mean, even if somebody tried, and you know what's really funny? I have to say this. So every director in a company, you know, they have point shoes that they like to see people in. And everybody said to me that when I got into Ballet West, that, you know, Adam or Pam would be like, "No Grishkos, no Grishkos," you know, and it's like, why? They never said that. Nobody ever said that. I was like, you know, like, because you know why? Like Grishkos, you have to be strong to wear Grishkos.
Well, actually, nowadays you don't. Do you know what? This is something I'm educating people about. Is okay, years ago, our shoes were typically quite hard, but now we have so many different pastes and shank strengths and different models. For example, we even have shoes with elastic paste that are more softer in the box, and we even have shanks that go to like ProFlex and super soft, and even our thermo shanks, which are pre-arched. So nowadays, obviously back then, I totally understand it was very different. The shoes were
but
harder.
I love that about it. I love when you are offered a shoe that requires you to work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why I've been obsessed with Grishkos. I just love that. Do you know what I'm saying?
And it's like,
when you have to take responsibility.
Yeah.
On point, like you were saying, like working every part of the foot.
Mm-hmm.
And when you even at a young age are put into a Grishko shoe, I don't know, I kind of felt like I understood my responsibility. You don't just get up on point.
No, exactly. And you know what? This is what's funny when sometimes you fit first timers, because they seem to think they're going to put the shoe on and just be away with it and go and dance on point.
No.
And for the ones that are weaker, obviously I really take into consideration what shank strength I'm putting them in, because I don't want to go too hard that they can't work with it, but I don't want to go too soft that it doesn't give them any support. So this is where some fitters go wrong, is they just bang everybody in the same shank and it doesn't work.
No.
For example, the
And,
first,
you know, like, I don't know, I want to say, like, I remember an evolution of shank hardness. Like, I started in a hard shank.
oh wow,
You know what I mean? Like,
you
as
wear
a
the
young,
mediums now, don't you?
yeah, I do. And I prefer the mediums, like I said, because here's what I love about like the medium shank for me is so I like when the box gets really, really soft so that we can roll through our foot, like around where the bunion is.
Yeah.
But the medium shank for me is like perfect. So when I start to get like allow my shoes to get a little bit older, and the, you know, like the box is really, really soft, like my shank is still supportive enough for
Yes,
positive.
I get what you mean.
Yeah. So I mean that's why that combination for me matters.
Totally.
So
And also with, just to let the viewers know that when professionals are wearing shoes on stage, some dancers may switch between shanks depending on the role they're dancing.
yes.
But also what is very important to the professional dancer is that their foot looks good. Like you have to showcase that line. And when we're speaking about the line, like some dancers that are professionals that are in the wrong shoes, you will know about it, because as the audience, you will see beautiful leg line, then a bulk of a shoe that does not look part of that line. And it can be very unsightly. So it should be about creating lines, and it should be pleasing, and it should also showcase the dancer's arch. It should look part of her. I always say that your shoe is part of your foot. It shouldn't be that, you know, oh, I've got a point shoe on and I can really notice it. It should, from afar, it should look beautiful. And that's
why they work for me is with the narrow foot. I always felt like the Grishkos just kind of fit.
Yes. Do you know what I had a problem with, right? My very first pair of point shoes, which are another brand, they put me in a shoe really wide and they said, oh, how does it feel? And I was like, well, my big toe is on the ground. And they said, oh, that's okay. You're just feeling the floor. Oh my God, these shoes, they were horrific.
No.
I was sliding down, literally just sliding down. And this shop had been there for 40 years, right? And they claimed that they know what they're doing. And as a first timer, you just don't know what you're meant to feel. So you go with what they tell you. Yeah. And I ended up with a toenail falling off, and I was only a first timer. That it just isn't okay.
No.
And when I got put in the right shoe, it was different because I had to learn how tight it has to be, and that was really bizarre for me because I didn't understand. Yes. So whenever I fit a first timer, I always try to educate them on the importance of how firm it has to be, because of course, as we both know, when it breaks down, it gets wider, and we've got to ensure that it's snug to start with.
Yes.
Another thing I noticed about your fitting video was I think your feet might be a little bit compressible in the metatarsals, because like me, you was wearing a toe spacer between your big toe and second toe.
Yeah.
And usually feet like that tend to have very more flexibility in the metatarsal area. So when the foot is flat, it looks wider. But when they put a point shoe on and they go on point, the foot squishes down and they start to get some motion of the foot going downwards. Yes. And sometimes, you know, they get their shoe on and they're like, oh, hey, the width feels great. And then they wear it a few times and they start to have that problem and put a box liner in, or they start trying different padding to try and sort the pain out that they're getting. But there's a few good models and also a few good remedies we can do in custom, but also, there's loads of things I can speak about for that. I don't want to bore people.
No, but it matters, because to have somebody who knows is helpful. And I'm open to any suggestions you have to improve my shoe. And the thing is that, you know, from a dancer's perspective, as you get stronger, improve your technique, your shoe might have to evolve with you, because like we were talking about earlier with making sure the back of the knee is very straight and the front of the arch is pushing out. I mean, that's a line of my leg differently than maybe like first started. So it's like, you know, all of that matters when you take into a shoe into consideration when you're up on point.
Exactly.
You know, so you might not wear the same exact shoe.
No. I always say to dancers, even those that are hobbyists, you must get a fitting at least once every 6 months, because so much can change in those 6 months. I mean, oh my God, the other day I had one of my younger dancers, really tiny feet, And she has grown so much within a few months, and her feet have got wider. Her insteps have got more muscular because she's getting more strength. So there were so many changes. And I knew roughly with lockdown currently on, I could just send her some shoes to try it with a virtual fitting. But yeah, it was really important that she came forward and told me, I've definitely grown, because just seeing her feet, there's so many differences. And also, there are different things that we have to take into consideration when fitting, and it's stuff like hypermobility as well. And if someone's got that hypermobility everywhere, or have they just got it in their ankles or their knees, sway backs, all of this all comes into play when we're thinking about a pointe shoe. And, sometimes with the really hypermobile dancers, they can be very flexible but very weak at the same time. So they've got to work on the strength. So sometimes you would give them a shoe that is going to help get their alignment correct, but also build their strength, so that when they come back to you for the second pair, you can feel the shoe, analyze what's happening, and look how much strength they've gained, and then start thinking about differences in shanks, or even a custom order for some of those kind of dancers.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
lucky to have you.
Oh, it's frozen. Hang on. There we go. So also, did you ever come into contact with the fake Grishkos that are still going around?
No, because Pat's Dancewear in Utah, they've been around for years.
Thank God.
Thank God, right. I mean, no, they nipped that in the bud. So I went to yeah, I'm so thankful. And actually, so myself, Emily Adams, who's a principal ballerina at Ballet West, Gabrielle Salvato, who's a demi-soloist at Ballet West, look, just as an example, all three are Grishko. And
cool.
Swooped in and made sure we had the right shoes.
Thank goodness for that. Phew.
They worked hard for us, and I'm so thankful for Pat's, and that Nikolay was able to work with them right away. So yeah, we never
thank God for that.
Yeah.
For those of you not aware, I mean, obviously I've bashed on about it in so many live streams, but hey, maybe you're new to my streams. Let me just talk to you about this. It's important. So there are fake shoes being made under our name of Grishko. They're not real Grishkos. Our name for America is Nikolay, which is Mr. Grishko's first name. And it was very important for us to take all of you guys into consideration and help you get the same pointe shoes you knew and loved that were actual Grishkos, which are now Nikolay's for you guys, from the Russia factories with the high quality materials that we use, but also give you access to a broader range, because you never used to get the range that you're going to get now through Nikolay, but also the dancewear. And when you have a shoe, I mean, some of your stores might have old stock that were old real Grishkos, but anyway, from now on, it has been for a long time now, any new stock will have Nikolay here instead of Grishko. And the important part is it will say handmade in Russia, like mine do. It won't say just handmade. It won't say anything else. It will say handmade in Russia. So if you're on the fence, if you have any questions about that, please just ask, because we will help you out and find you your nearest retailer. Also, speaking of Pat's Dancewear, I must get them on for a Meet the Nikolay retailer stream on the Nikolay Instagram. That would be great. We must do that.
You guys, they really, really care. And just like you.
I know, I loved her attention to detail, and I love the fact that she asked you all the vital questions, and she really took her time with the sizing and, telling you about the information of the models, which is also so important. Because dancers don't know everything about pointe shoes. Just because they dance doesn't mean that they know all the little informations. And obviously, it all varies between brands, and it all varies between models. I mean, us as a brand alone, we have over 12,000 variations in shoes.
Yes. Guys improve and make changes all the time, and it's hard for us to keep up with that. So that's what on you or Pat's is important, because they're they actually text me and they're like, Nikolay has this new shoe, do you want to try it? They literally do that to me probably, I don't know, once every couple of months, honestly.
That's amazing.
Okay, let's do it. So they're good.
It's so vital. For you guys watching, I often get emails saying they're not close to a dance store. Even if you have to make a day trip out of it, I cannot stress, try to get a proper fit in, right? If you can't do once every 6 months, do once a year, but you've really, especially for a first pair, please do not buy online. I don't feel that you can virtually fit a first timer. I've seen apparently people do it, but I'm not up for doing it. I would never do it. I always request that if you're a first timer, you come to see me or go to a local fitter, you know. But if you're already on point, you know, okay, it's sort of do if you're a real fitting, do a virtual one. But again, still, every 6 months, try to get yourself to a real fitter, because there are things we cannot see or feel through the internet. So there's only so much we can do over a video call. So just bear that in mind, guys. I know I get emails about it every day, but you know I'm super thorough and I just want to make sure everyone's safe, on point. So tell me about how you prepare your shoes, because everyone does something different. Do you have any little secrets that you do to make your shoes wearable for you personally? This will help me gauge what I'm going to do with a shoe for you as well, actually.
One thing, I put alcohol, I spray alcohol, not water, because water stains. I spray alcohol all along where the metatarsal is, where we break. And I hammer that down so that is as soft as possible to start with. But otherwise, I let my feet break my shoes in, because if I like bend my shoe in, you know, like that might not be where my arch is.
No, exactly. Totally agree with that.
Yeah, so all I do, honestly, to prepare my shoe is like I said, just try to get that metatarsal area as soft as possible to begin with. And then
yeah, right.
I don't put my shoes in a door.
No. I advise against that to anyone watching, by the way.
No, and so also, you know, like my boss, he really wants to make sure that we have soft shoes, like meaning like that we don't have a loud noise on stage when we jump. And
of course.
So, you know, some people think that means like banging your shoes on the ground.
Yeah, we have options for that in Grishko Nikolay shoes, actually. The Pro option has sound absorption built in, and the Pro Flex. But also we have in some models, it's already inbuilt anyways. But yeah, I noticed that some dancers will smash it on the ground or, you know, whatever.
I don't do that, and I don't ever get the note that my shoes are loud. But that's like, I take a lot of like, I really try to roll through my feet even when I'm jumping, you know? And so it's like I said, a lot of it is you have to take responsibility for yourself as well. And you can't just be like, oh, that's my new shoe and my shoe is hard. No, like, you know.
Absolutely.
This is why I think Grishko's work so well for me. It's like, I do not have to do a lot for them to just feel good on my feet. So that's it. But
it's amazing, like when for people watching that are maybe struggling to find the perfect shoe, if you are really fighting with your shoe and you're struggling, you have any pains anywhere, honestly 9 times out of 10 you're likely in the wrong shoe for you. So do reach out and get refitted. Honestly, don't struggle, it's not worth it. Sometimes you can keep fighting a battle that you're never going to win.
Yeah, and I mean, why even do that when you guys have so many options?
Exactly, right.
And that works. So
the other thing I wanted to mention is, of course, some retailers of Nikolay pointe shoes don't have as many models yet, or they might not have as many shank stems. But don't be afraid to ask them to get something in for you to try, because they will do that for you. And we have super fast turnaround times now, which is great. It means you get shoes quicker. But also we have so many models. We have, like, you know, different lasts, and I've just put a recent video on YouTube all about the Fouette last, where I spoke for nearly an hour about it. That's how much detail there is. So we really do have a Nikolay shoe to suit everybody. And when I do a fitting personally, I often find 4 or 5 different Nikolay shoes that work for that one dancer. So it's actually pretty astounding, the variety that we have. And don't forget, we can also fit men. Don't feel that the guys are left out. I've fitted plenty of guys before.
Where's Grishko?
So on this stream we have, I think it's 5 minutes left on this one. So it'd be great to do some more of these in the future, and also it'd be great to get you on here to do some classes for these guys. That would be amazing.
Yeah. So, heard me, but I said, like, my husband, he's a principal with Ballet West. He also wears Grishko.
Does he? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I never knew that. That's amazing. I hope Mr. Grishko is watching this. That is super cool. How cool that you're both, like, you know, dancers, both married, and you both wear Grishkos. That's incredible. Does he have a favorite slipper that he wears? Do you know?
There's somewhere around here. I'm not sure which one is his favorite, but I'm sure he'd be open. So he's got pretty big feet.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, maybe you could even virtually fit him, make sure,
Yes.
because you guys, a lot of people don't know that men care just as much about how their foot looks in a ballet shoe as us women do in a point shoe.
Oh God, absolutely, I agree. Sorry, I'm just because the stream's already ended early on my double stream. I'm just sorting this, and then we'll reboot it. Do you have to go urgently? Can you do another 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Fab. I'm just going to reboot it. Hang on a second. Sorry, guys. Technology.
Darcel, she said Happy Mother's Day, honey. It's so good. I mean, so I know little, well, not little anymore, but Darcel for so many years now. We met in Chicago when Ballet West was on tour at the Auditorium Theater, and we met in person. So it's good to see you on Darcel.
That's amazing. So on this stream, we're going to have to reboot it because it's going to end in a couple of seconds. So everyone watching, please come back. We're just going to reboot because it boots you off after a certain amount of time. So please come back, go back to the page, refresh it, and we'll rejoin. So see you guys in a moment.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.